I told you that if you sent me to Washington, putting the people of Idaho first and back to work would be my #1 priority. In my first year, our primary focus has been jobs. Since arriving in Washington, D.C., Republicans in the House have passed nearly 30 bipartisan bills that would get businesses hiring again. Unfortunately, the Senate Democrats have failed to act on any of them. I also told you that I would be a voice for fiscal responsibility. I voted to reduce spending not just by a little, but by a lot, back to 2008 levels. I voted for Paul Ryan's budget and voted for an even more aggressive plan that would have balanced the budget in 10 years. I was one of the most vocal supporters in Congress of adding a balanced budget amendment to the Constitution. I believe that the best and only way to fix the taxing, spending, and borrowing mess in Washington, D.C. is to balance our budget every single year, just like these legislators behind me have to do every single year here in Idaho. Because of my efforts, the House actually voted on a balanced budget amendment this year for the first time since 1995. During my campaign, I promised you that I would vote to repeal Obamacare. That's why the first bill I co-sponsored in Congress was to get rid of this job-killing law. And I will continue to fight to leave healthcare decisions in the hands of the citizens of Idaho and not bureaucrats in Washington, D.C. I also said that I would defend the Constitution at all costs. I did so following the example of our own Governor Otter by voting against reauthorization of the Patriot Act, which erodes our constitutional liberties. I also voted against the NDAA, the National Defense Authorization Act, because it failed to clearly protect U.S. citizens from indefinite detention. I said that I would fight the excessive red tape government imposes on all of us. I voted to prevent the EPA from regulating greenhouse gases because such action would wreak havoc on our economy. And I also co-sponsored regulation that would place a moratorium on all new job-killing regulations on American small businesses. I said I would protect the lives of the unborn. I voted to make the Hyde Amendment the law of the land, prohibiting taxpayer-funded abortions, and I stood firmly against giving your hard-earned money to Planned Parenthood. In light of this administration's most recent assault on religion, I have recently co-sponsored legislation providing conscience protections to faith-based organizations. I promised you that I would stand up for American energy independence and security. That's why I voted to restart the energy industry in this country by allowing oil drilling and exploration in the Gulf of Mexico and by allowing construction of the Keystone Pipeline. And I told you that I would always stand up to corruption in Washington, D.C. As the first member of Congress to formally call on Attorney General Holder to resign, I have fought tirelessly to get to the bottom of Fast and Furious and finally bring about justice for the death of Border Patrol agent Brian Terry. You might have seen my exchange with Mr. Holder earlier this month. I know he was a little bit confused during our exchange about which state I was from, but I doubt that he will ever forget that I am from Idaho. And yes, Mr. Holder, to answer your question, that is how we do things in Idaho. We ask direct questions and we expect direct answers. Finally, I promise you that I would not allow Washington to change me, and Washington has not changed me. I have kept my promises to you. My friends, things are improving in America and in Idaho, but I still realize there's much more to be done. Without much help from the Democrats in Congress or the White House, we have been able to restrain spending in Washington. We have alleviated the regulatory burden facing America's small businesses, and we have steered this economy back on track. As Americans, when we face adversity, we always persevere. This is the attitude I took with me to Washington, and I believe that Americans, without government interference, are the driving force of this country. The government just simply needs to get out of the way. That's why I'm pleased to announce today that I have chosen to seek another term as a congressman from Idaho's 1st Congressional District. I share your values and your vision for America, and I would be honored to continue to serve the great state of Idaho in Congress. Thanks for being here today. I want to thank again my family, my friends and colleagues who stood by me since the very beginning. Many of you spent countless hours helping me win in 2010. Now I will be counting on all of you to help me win in November. May God bless you, may God bless America, and together, let's continue to fight to keep Idaho strong. Thank you.